After breakfast, I went to visit my mother, as I did every morning. "Good morning, Mamma," I whispered as I sat down on the tufted stool I kept beneath the portrait of her that hung in the hall. Quickly, I looked around to see if anyone had noticed that I was talking to a painting. It was a habit I'd been scolded for more than once. A princess should not talk to the dead, they said. It is unbecoming, strange, morbid. I would point out that I had no siblings, no friends. Who else was I supposed to talk to? Also, no one dared call my father strange or morbid, though he'd commissioned dozens of portraits of her. He kept at least 20 of them in a single hall near his privy chamber, and I'd certainly heard him bid her likeness good night. To sit before my mother's picture every day soothed my loneliness a little somehow, and perhaps it was the same for my father when he paced the long corridor, the one the servants secretly called the Hall of Flat Queens. Here in her cloth of gold crown, with its exquisitely embroidered partlet and heavy jeweled necklace, my mother looked impossibly beautiful, impossibly regal. Her skin was opal luminescent. She had smooth cheeks and wide green eyes under arching dramatic brows. Her thick braids coiled around her head like a crown. In this painting, my favorite of them all, she wore jewels in her plaits, diamonds that winked like stars in the dark night of her hair. "I'm taking food to the village today," I whispered. "I don't know what they'll do when Ares comes. We'll have to let them seek refuge in the castle, won't we? It's the only way they'll be safe. Father will want to refuse, but I heard footsteps ringing in the stone floor, so I shut my mouth and bent my head as if in prayer. No one would dare reprimand the princess for praying for the soul of her poor dead mother. But instead of praying, my lips moved with the words of a song I'd written for her a long time ago. "Once you ruled over forest and fen, reigned over river and sea. Now you sit on eternity's throne, watching over me. My place is here within the world. I cannot join you yet. Though I was too young to remember you, I also never forget." Jeanette came up behind me and placed her hands on my shoulders. "She married your father when she was just 16, she said wistfully. "Oh, if you could have seen her on her wedding day. Her gown was ivory silk, embroidered in gold, and when she came into the chapel she was more beautiful than the sun." "I can't imagine being married so young," I admitted. Jeanette turned my face toward her own. "She was engaged to your father by her 10th birthday, you know. And it's high time you were betrothed, princess. Come the spring, the king will have to reckon with the matter. A kingdom can grow in other ways besides war and conquest, and he'd do well to remember that. A wise marriage means a strong alliance," she smiled gently. "Of course, he doesn't want to part with you. You are all he has. When you leave us, Sophia, we'll both be lost." "I'm not going anywhere," I said firmly. "I'm sure your mother told her lady-in-waiting the exact same thing before she journeyed to marry your father." I touched the ruby ring that circled my finger. It was meant for her, a birthday gift from my father, but she died before she got to wear it. "I miss her," I whispered. "I know you do. But how can I miss what I've never even known? Doggo doesn't miss flying. A bird doesn't miss swimming." "And I myself don't miss being king," Jeanette agreed. "But a girl longs for her mother no matter what, and that is the sorrow you must carry. It is heavy, I know, and I can only hope it makes you stronger." I reached out to touch the painting's gilded frame, and my fingers came away dusty. My mother had died when she was 19, just 2 years older than I am now. "Sometimes I feel like she's watching me, like she's not truly gone," I said. Then I shook my head. "But I know that's impossible. It's only what I wish were true." Jeanette smiled gently. "There have been times when I sensed her too. Perhaps she really does visit us. Or maybe we long for it so much that we trick ourselves. Maybe I'm just a foolish old woman and you're a lonely young girl." "You're not foolish or old," I said, but I did not deny my own loneliness. She saw it trail me like a shadow every day. "I wish you could have known her," Jeanette sighed. "She was lovely and full of grace. and she sang and played the harp like an angel. She patted my hand. And on one of your good days, Your Highness, you're almost exactly like her. Beautiful and poised, although your harp skills, Princess, are nearly non-existent. It should have pleased me to hear Jeanette's praise, but instead it made me feel a sudden shiver of dread. I didn't want to be just like my mother. I didn't yearn to be sent to marry a stranger in a far-off realm, only to hope I'd grow to love him. Though I knew it was a futile wish, I wanted to find love for myself. And most importantly, I didn't want to die before I'd really had a chance to live.